Utmost gratitude to all of you for your time this evening to join us in this intermediate Python workshop. My name is Irfan and I will be your MC for today. Before we start, let us give a brief introduction on I.D.E.A. I.D.E.A focuses on DIY projects and robotic automations related to science and arts. It aims to promote innovation, creativity, and fun in inventing. Before we kickstart, allow me to introduce our instructor for today. We have the honor of having Mr. Builtin as the instructor for guiding us in this workshop. Mr. B is the Vice President of the Robotics Club USM and also the second year student of Bachelor of Engineering of the USM Electronic Engineering. He also has programming languages experience in Python, C++, web design, and JavaScript. Mr. B, as a programming and coding tutor for primary and secondary school students. And also, he is the tutor for Pygame workshop and image processing workshop under Robotics Club USM. Now that our instructor has been introduced, without further ado, I'd like to hand this event over to Mr. B to commence this workshop.
Hello, everyone. Testing. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, Mr. Clear.
Okay, thank you. I think I cannot share screen right now. I think I need the co-host. Can anyone assign me as co-host?
Sure. I already assigned you as the co-host.
Oh, sorry. I think another account of mine. I think I have two accounts. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, so without further ado, I think let's get right into the programming part, okay? So because yesterday, I think you all already installed the PyCharm application, set up everything, right? Okay, so if not, I will just show again how do we open the PyCharm. Okay, so PyCharm is the IDE that I will use to write Python code. Okay, so we just search for PyCharm and then we just open it. Okay, and then I can new a project. Okay, if you want to use yesterday project also can, you don't need to create a new one also no mind. If you didn't join yesterday workshop, then you can create a new one, it's okay. So I'll just name it as intermediate Python. Okay, you can name it any name you like. Okay, and then I will just create a project. Okay, so I will start off with some basic part first, carry on with some basic parts first, because yesterday I think yesterday tutor covered until if else. So I think there's some more basic knowledge that is very important. So I will continue with that. Okay, so if you have done open your PyCharm and get ready, then you can follow my step. So before I start, I have to teach you one like hotkey first. Okay, I need you to know how to convert between switch between your application. Okay, because you have to look at your Zoom and also you have to jump into your PyCharm quickly. Okay, so you have to use alternate tab. Okay, you can use alternate tab to switch between applications. Okay, so you can follow what I type. Okay, you can use alternate tab to switch between Zoom and PyCharm application. Okay, so let's get right into our first Python file. Okay, so I'll right click my Python project and new Python file. Okay, similar as yesterday. So firstly, I will start with while loop. Okay, I will continue with while loop because this is a very important knowledge. Yesterday for if else, I think you guys have learned about if else, right? So if else, let us do decision. Let's do decision making. Let the computer know what to do and what not to do with some condition. Okay, and then while loop help us to repeat something. Okay, this is also very important. Okay, so I will just simply go through it. Okay, so for the while loop syntax, we have to start with the keyword while. Okay, so we can write while and then followed by a space bar. And then after that, we will need to have an expression here. Okay, over here is our expression. So for example, I can define a variable first. Let's say I define my variable. Maybe I define as a y. And then if my loop, my key is equals to y, and then I will continue with the looping. Okay. So this can be a complicated expression also can. Okay, this can be any expression. The expression will be simplified into true or false. If the expression is true, it will keep repeat what is inside. If it is not, then it will exit the while loop. Okay, so let's say I will just do something here. I'll print do something. And then I'll input again, and then let you type in whether you want to loop again or not. Okay, let's say y as yes, n for no. Okay, and then this is our key. Okay, just to let you feel how the while loop actually works. Okay, so we can try to run this program. Okay, so if you type y, it will carry on looping. It will keep repeat. Okay, if you type other than that, then it was supposed to end. Okay, so this is a very important basic concept also. Okay, in many programming language also, we have this repetition process. Okay, so if you input y, it will repeat. If you input other than that, it's supposed to end. Okay, so this is how while loop works. Okay. If you have any problem, you can ask in the chat box also, never mind. Okay, I can answer your question. If you have any, you can ask in the chat box. Okay, and then while loop also can use together with the keyword break and also continue. Sorry, break and also continue. Okay. So if, for example, let me mask out this previous code first. Okay, so for example, if I want to print maybe 1 to 10, for example, so I can use a variable count, and then I can, while count is smaller than 10, smaller than equals to 10, and then let's print count, and then count goes to count plus 1. Okay, something like this. Okay, so this can print me 1 to 10. Okay, so but if this is one way to do it, to print 1 to 10. So if I don't want to use this condition here, I can actually put this as true. Okay, I can hard code this expression as true, and then it's supposed to repeat forever, right? If the expression is always true. Okay, but then I can add a checking inside. I can add a checking inside decision making. If count is equals to 10, I will call the break command. I will call the break command. Okay, if the break command is reached, and then it will end the loop. Okay, so I think I will just change the sequence a little bit because I want to print 1 to 10. Oops, I think something went wrong. Just give me a second. Okay, I think this one I have to clear off this one first because I have to start at 1. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is also another way we can use with while loop. We can use break, the break command. Okay, so if the break command is run, and then the while loop will be terminate. Okay. Okay, what do people use this function for? This is a while loop, right? So in many programming, we have to repeat something. In many process, a lot of process have to repeat. So if you want some of the code, if you want to repeat it, you can use while loop. Okay. And then other than that, while loop also can use together with continue. Okay, so let's say I want to print 1 to 10. Just simple example. Let's say I want to print 1 to 10. I think I'll use the previous one. Okay, let me think first. Okay, let's say I want to print 1 to 10. But then if I want to skip something, I can use continue. If I want to skip number 5. Okay, if I want to skip the number 5, I just modify a little bit. Okay, if I want to skip the number 5, I can do it like this. If you check the count is 5, and then it will continue. If it's encounter a continue, it will straight jump to the start and repeat again. Okay, if it encounter continue, it will straight jump to the start and repeat again. Okay, and so it will skip number 5. Okay, so number 5 is skipped here. Okay, so this is about while loop. Okay, I don't prepare any tasks here. I just simply go through. Okay, hope you can somehow get some idea from. Okay, so one of the looping method is using while loop. Another one is for in loop. Okay, so now I will go to another looping method, which is for in loop. Okay, so I will just create one more Python file for in loop. Okay, so for in loop we usually use to loop a sequence. Okay, when we have a sequence of items, we can use a for in loop to step through it. Okay, so for in loop can help us to repeat with a known number of times. For example, let's say over here I create a list. Okay, a list with many string inside. For example, I have three string inside: eat, sleep, and repeat. For example, this is my list. So if I want to step through this list, I can use for in loop. Okay, so for A in item, for item in A. Print item. Okay, so this is the syntax of for in loop. It will help us step through all the items. So if I have 3 items, it will repeat 3 times only. Okay, so A is my list. Item is a temporary variable to represent each item. Okay, at the first loop, item will represent eat. In the second loop, item will represent sleep. In the third loop, item will represent repeat. Okay, so this is how for in loop works. Okay, so if you have a list, you want to step through it, then you can use a for in loop. Okay, and then for in loop, usually, if you want to repeat for a certain number of time, we know how many times we want to repeat. For example, 5 times, 10 times. If the number of repetition is known, we also can use for in loop. We can use together with range function. Okay, for example, if I want to repeat 10 times, I can use the range function. Okay, so this range function actually creates something like a list for us. Okay, this range function creates a list for us, something like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. I think not include 10. Okay. So if you write range 10, it is something like this. Okay, 0, 1 until 9. Okay, so you can repeat 10 times. So for example, I print I will get 0 to 9. Okay. So this is when you know how many times you want to repeat, you can use for in loop together with range function. Okay, or if you want to step through a string, okay, for example, if I have a word, okay, the word, let's say is Python. Okay, if I want to step through this string, okay, like this. For I in word, okay, the word is a string. If I print I will represent each character. Okay, I can split out the character one by one. Python. Okay, so this is when you use a for in loop to step through a string. You will get each character. Okay, so this is also a type of repetition, a type of looping. Okay, so I think this too is quite important. Okay. All right, so next I will go into what I want to teach today. Okay, so if you already have the basic knowledge about how to create variable, how to deal with operators, and also decision making and repetition. And then the next one is function. Okay, next one I'll teach how do we define a function. Okay. So we can group a multiple statements under a name called function. Function can be called out by specify its name. Okay, so we can group together some of the code and make it as a function. Okay, so function we have two types: self-defined function and also built-in function. Okay, so first I will go with self-defined function first. Okay, so let's create a Python file, another Python file, so that we don't mix together the things. We just create a new one. I will name it as function. Okay, so the syntax to define a function is DEF. Okay, we write DEF. And then after that, we give a name to the function. And then followed by a bracket. And then a column. And then the code will be inside. Okay, for example, like this. Okay, so this is how we define a function. Okay, we can have many lines inside. Okay. Okay, we can have many lines of code inside. Okay, I think I'm right. Nice. Okay, so this is how we define a function. Okay, this is just a very simple function. I just like an example. Okay. And then let's say we try to run this program. Okay, let's say we define a function and we try to run this program. You will find out that nothing is shown. Okay, nothing is print out. Because you only define the function, but then you never call the function. That's why nothing is print out. Okay, so to run the function or to call the function, we have to specify its name. Okay, so the name of the function I define here is say hi. Okay, you can give any name you want. Okay, and then followed by a bracket. Okay, this bracket here is to put in any parameters to the function. But then over here, there's no parameter, so we just leave it with the empty bracket will do. Okay, let's try to run it. Okay, you can see hello, nice to meet you. Okay, so this is how we define a function. Okay, so it is quite important when you have very long code. So when your application gets complicated, maybe 1,000 of line, maybe 100 of line. Okay, you don't write things without function. Okay, with function you can classify your things. Okay, maybe in an application there is some subroutine, sub application, smaller part of it. You can define them as function. And then maybe some people can responsible for some function, and the other one can responsible for the other function, something like this. Okay, so function can be called anytime in the code. Okay, call how many times also can one. Okay, when you want to call the function, you just specify its name. Okay. All right, so let's modify a little bit of this function. Okay, a function can have input. Okay, we can have input to the function. Okay, so let's say I want to say hi to somebody. Okay, I want to say hi to somebody, not just hello. I want to hello and then somebody. Okay, so maybe I can write name over here. So this can be the input. Okay, this is a parameter. So this parameter I can use in my function. So for example, hello name. Okay, so this is a variable, or sometimes you call parameter. And then when we call the function, we can put in a name. Okay, so for example, ABC, D.E.A. Okay, 1, 2, 3. This for example. Okay, and then you will run hello ABC, nice to meet you. Okay, this input will go inside here, and then the parameter will go inside here. And then we can use the parameter inside. Okay, and then we can have more parameter, not just one. Okay, we can have many parameter. It's okay. So let's say I want to tell hello somebody, and then I want to say my name. Nice to meet you. My name is somebody. Okay. My name. Okay, can do it like this. Okay, so this is my parameter. If I have two parameter here, when I call my function, I must pass in two parameter. Okay, otherwise something is unknown, it will give you error. Okay, one parameter is missing. Okay, so let's say, hello Ali, my name is, let's say Jimmy. Okay, so when I call the function, I have to pass in two parameters. Okay, parameters can be anything, not just a string. Sometimes you can pass in number, if you want to pass list, pass some logic inside also can. Okay, depends on your function. Okay, so this is input. Okay, we can input something to the function. Okay, so hello Ali, nice to meet you. My name is Jimmy. Okay, so this is input. And then to go further, actually the input, we can set the default to it. Okay, we can set the default input to it. So if the user didn't key in any parameter, we still can use the default parameter. Okay, to set the default to it, we can write equal sign, and then we can write the default parameter we want. So for example, by default, I want to set this name as Ali. By default, I want to set this my name to Jimmy by default. Okay. So when you call the function, now you can leave it blank. If you leave it blank, then it will use the default. Okay. If you write in some input, then you will use the input you type in. Okay, let's have comparison. Okay, let's say I change it. Okay, let's say I change this. So if without any input, you will use the default. So it will say, hello, Ali, nice to meet you. My name is Jimmy. Because Ali and Jimmy is the default input. And if I don't want to use the default, I can change it. I can put in where's the input I want to put in. So let's say I put Abu and Xiaoming. Okay, so it will say, hello, Abu, nice to meet you. My name is Xiaoming. Okay, so this is input. Okay, other than input, we also can have output for some function. So let's say we define another function. Okay, we define a function as roll dice. Okay, and then this function is supposed to give us any number between 1 to 6. So to do so, we have to import a random module first. Okay, and then random number. Okay, equals to random integer 0 to 6. Oh, not 0, 1 to 6. Okay, and then I can return random number. Okay. Oh, sorry, typo. Return. Okay. All right. So this is how a function can return something to us. Okay. Sometimes we have to give the function something. If you want to give the function something, we do it as input, and then we pass something to it. And if we want the function to return something, we use the return keyword and to return something. Okay. So let's say I want to call this function roll dice. Okay, let's say I call it. Okay, but nothing is showing because I didn't save the return. I didn't store the return, and I didn't print it as well. Okay, so let's say I store the return and then I print it. Let's see how. Okay, so this is how we can store the return from a function. Okay, we just call a function and then just store it in a variable. Okay, and then I can print it out. Okay, let's say this time I get 1. Let's try again. Right, this time I get 2. Try again. This time I get 4. Okay, so this function will just return any number between 1 to 6 to us. Okay, so this is how we call return. How a function returns something to us. All right, since we don't have much time now, so I think I have to proceed to the next one. Okay, I just briefly go through. There's some more details you can explore by yourself. Okay, so next one I want to go through is built-in functions. So Python have a lot of built-in functions. You don't have to install it somewhere. You don't have to create it by your own. It's just there when you install the Python software. Okay, so here's some of it. I think it's quite a lot of it. Okay, of course you can Google it. I'm not sure whether it's big enough. Okay, you can just go to Google built-in functions Python, and then you can see a lot of it with explanation. Okay, so for example, range. Just now I will show you range. We'll create a list of number for us, and then we can have round. Round is for us to round up some number. Also, we can use len. Okay, this one is to know how many items in a list or a tuple. And then also Okay, let's try some of it. Okay, let's try to go through some of it. Built-in function. Okay, let's create another program called built-in function. Okay, built-in function. Let's go. Okay, for example, a simple one, print. Okay, print is also a built-in function actually. Okay, we don't define one as print, it's just that we just use it. Okay, and then for example, if I have a list, for example, animals. Okay, for example, I have a list. I have dog, I have cat. Okay, I have fish. Okay, so I have how many items? Sometimes we need to know how many items is in the list, so we can use length. Okay, length of animals. Supposedly I can get 3. Okay, because there is 3 items. So let's try to run it. Okay, we will get 3 because we have 3 items inside. Okay, somehow we have round. Okay, round is for rounding up some number. Okay, so for example, 2.55, round up, we should get 3. So let's print it out. Print round 2.55, we should get 3. Okay, simple. Okay, also we have absolute. Okay, absolute is used to like remove the negative sign. Okay, for example, negative 1, 2, 3, absolute of it, we can get 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is still some of the built-in function. And then we also have type. Like for example, if you want to know what is the type of the variable, for example, type of animals. So animals is a list over here. The variable animals is a list. So if I call the type function, it will show me list, class list. It is considered a list. Okay, so there are many more built-in function. I just show some simple one. Okay, so built-in function also include type conversion. Okay, so for example, like bool, integer, string, string or str, string. Okay, and also float. These are also used for type conversion. Okay, I think yesterday we already go through some. Okay, so for example, if I have some number, okay, this number suppose 1.23, let's say. So let me check the type of it. Okay, so it's supposed to be float because it is floating point. Okay, so 1.23 is a float. So if I want to change it to integer, I can call the function int. Okay, int num. This will convert 123. Okay, 1.23 into 1. Okay, so let's try it. All right, 1.23. If we convert to integer, it will just be 1. Okay, so if after we convert, we want to save it. Maybe I want to override the function, override the variable. Previously is floating point. Maybe I want to make it integer and override it. Okay, so this is how I make it into integer and override it. Okay, let me check again the type. Okay, after that, the type should be integer. Okay, previously is float. Now it is integer because I convert it. Okay. So this is very useful when you have input because the input user type in should be string, always string. Okay, so you have to convert it. If you want to do some mathematical calculation, you can convert it into integer, float. Okay, or Boolean also can. Okay, so this is under type conversion. Okay, here I have some example. Okay, you can go through it. Okay, next I will cover file. Next, I'll talk about file. Okay, file, let's create a Python file. File is usually we will use to handle text file. For simple purpose, we can use to handle text file. Okay, so text file we can read in, we can write out. Okay, sometimes the calculation, the variable, the result, we don't want it to stay in Python only. Sometimes we want to extract it out. We want to save it permanently. Okay. So we can use file to save it, save some simple information. Okay, so let's say, let us try to open a file first. To open a file, we have to use the function open, also a built-in function. Okay, so to open a file, we have to specify its location supposedly. But then if we don't, the file will be open as in our directory. Okay, so let's say I just create my text file.txt. Okay, and then I have to specify what type of operation I want to do with the file. Okay, the type of operation can be seen here. What type of mode? Okay, we have read mode, write mode, append mode, okay, and some extra things. Okay, so for example, if I want to create a file, I can use write mode because write mode can help us to create a file. Okay, so if you want to create a file and write something, okay, you can, let's say you can f.write. Okay, so let's say I write ABC. Okay, so to create a file, we have to specify what mode is it, and then we have to give a name. And then you will store it in as a variable, and then we can call the variable to write something. Okay, after everything is done, we have to close it. Okay, so let's say we run it. Okay, there we go. You can see a my text file here. Okay, and then to read it, we can use maybe another variable. Okay, we read file. Okay, also the same, we have to use open. Okay, let's say this time I want to use R function, R mode. Okay, I can read file.read. Okay, after we read, we have to save the content. And then let's say we print out the content. Okay, and then we will get ABC. Because previously we write in ABC to the file, and then we read from the file. So here we get ABC. Okay. So I think that's all for file. There's some more mode to use. Maybe you can append to a file. Okay, you can open in binary mode. If you want to read and write together, maybe you can use R+. Okay, R+ can allow you to read the file and also append to a file. Okay, read and write, you can use R+. Okay, so next I'll talk about module. Okay, so this is where it becomes interesting because we don't always just write code by our own, build everything like start from scratch. Okay, so if we know about module, then we can explore about external modules. Okay, usually if we want to do complicated things, we don't do everything but from scratch. We don't do everything from zero. Okay, usually we just import something that is built by somebody and then we just use it. Okay, this is where external modules comes in. Okay. All right, so firstly, we will try with, let's try with self-defined module first. Okay, module is simply a Python file. Okay, you can import any Python file to any Python file. Okay, let's try it. Okay, let's try it now. So let's say, oops, sorry, not this one. New Python file. Okay, so let's name it as module. Module. Okay. And then let's build another one. Okay, this time I need two Python file works together. because I need to build one and then the other one will import this one. So let's name it as Siri. Okay, let's name it as Siri. Just an example lah. Okay. So in this Siri, I will simply make some variable so that later I will show you I can use this variable in another Python file. And also I will define some function. Okay, so for example, greeting. Okay, and then I'll print welcome name. Okay, welcome somebody. Okay, so methods, classes, variable in a file, we can import to another file and use it. Okay, so for example, this siri.py, this Python file Siri have a variable x equals to 100 and also have a function. Okay, so let's use this variable or this function in another Python file. Okay, so let's say over here, module. Let's say I want to use something in Siri. I just write import Siri. Here how it works. Okay, I just write import Siri. Okay, and then I can use everything in Siri by just writing its name, Siri.greeting, for example. Siri.greeting. Okay, and then I can just write something because the function is an input. Okay, the function requires an input. Okay, there you go. I get welcome Jimmy. Okay, greeting is not defined in this file, but greeting is defined in the file Siri. Okay, so I can use everything we have in Siri. Okay, let's say print Siri.x. Okay, x supposed to be 100. In this Siri file, we define x as 100. So let's say I run it, I get 100 as well. Okay, so this is how we use somebody else thing. So later I will show you how we can install external module, external package, external library to help us build complicated things. Okay. So this is self-defined module. You can define by yourself and then you can use it. Okay. Of course, this is a simple example. Okay. So I think I'll copy some link to you. Okay, so here's we have built-in one module, we have built-in module and also external module. Okay, for example, this one should be built-in if not mistaken. All right, here is all the built-in module. Built-in module, you don't have to install. You just write import something, you will get it. You don't have to install from outside. And then the other one I think you can search for is a lot of external module. If you want to use any module, you just install it. Of course, we don't install many module to it because if our project have a very large amount of file, maybe it will run slower. Okay, so we just import whatever we need. Okay, so for example, previously I have a random, if you still remember, previously I have random in my, where is it? Okay, I guess I here. Random is one of a built-in function, so I just write import random and then I can use it. I don't need to install it. Okay, so let's try to use some external module, okay, to do some complicated things. So let's say I want to use, let's do some translation things first. Okay, so let's say we use this deep translator. All right, this external module, deep translator, can help us translate a word. Okay, so let's say we name a Python file, we name it as translate. Okay, I name a Python file, I name it as translate. Okay, so before we start, I have to install the package first because I want to use this deep translator and it is not built in. Deep translator is not built in. That's why I have to install first. Okay, so where to install? Okay, just follow my step. We can go to File, Setting, setting, and then project. Okay, find your project, and then go to Python interpreter. Okay, something might run wrong, I guess. Let me just close and open again. Close and reopen again. Okay, let me try again now. All right, that should be something. Okay, just now there's nothing here, so I just close and reopen. Okay, that should be something here. If yours is empty as well, you can close and then you can just close your project first and then reopen again. It should be there. Okay, there should be something. Okay, so as for now, these are the things we have in our project. Okay, it's very last, so I'll have to install something more. Okay, so let's search for I.D.E.A Translator. Okay, I.D.E.A Translator. Make sure your Wi-Fi is on, of course, because install external package require Wi-Fi. Okay, so search for I.D.E.A Translator. Okay, before that, I'll just show you how powerful is it. Okay, you can see there's thousands of package here available online. Okay, for different purpose. For example, if you want to do something about YouTube, maybe there's a lot of function, a lot of library here. If you want to do something about PDF, maybe there's something as well. Okay. So right now I want to do about translation. So I will use I.D.E.A Translator. Okay, just select it and then install. Okay, so this is how we can do complicated things. With just very less code, we can do complicated things because we just import that something that is built by others. Okay, so after you click install, you just wait for a couple seconds or minutes. It will show I.D.E.A Translator install successful. Okay, so sometimes it will come together with other library because it might need to use it. Okay, so something is not installed by me, but it just comes together. Because just now I installed I.D.E.A Translator, some package just comes together. Okay, so from I.D.E.A Translator, import Google Translator. Okay, sometimes we don't need all from the library, so we don't write import I.D.E.A Translator because import I.D.E.A Translator will import everything. Sometimes we just need to use part of it. Okay, so we can write from I.D.E.A Translator, import part of it. Okay, a part of it is called Google Translator. Okay. Okay, so first let me show you what language does it support. Okay, so to show what language does it support, you can just write this code, Google Translate .get supported language. Okay, and then run it. Oops, it's wrong here. Let me try again. Google Translator. I think previously it's working. Give me a second. We'll have an object attribute. Pause, maybe let's try. Missing one required. Okay. Yeah. Okay, it is not working. All right. I think previously I write through. Should be. Okay, I think never mind. Let's skip this step first and see whether it works or not. Okay, let's carry on. Never mind. Google Translator dot target. Oops. Record target. Yeah. Dot translate text. Okay, so let's say I have some text here. Okay, hi, how are you? Okay, so now my target is MS. MS actually means Malay. So let's say I translate this text into Malay. Okay, so I can save it here. Okay, translated text. Okay, translated text, and then I can print it. I hope it works. Let's try. Okay, it is working. Okay, so this package helps us to use Google Translate. Okay, maybe some of your application requires Google Translate. We can import from the translator, import Google Translator. Okay, so this part actually is the language code. You can put in the language code. What is the code you want to translate to? What is the language you want to translate to? So previously, actually, I want to print to show what is the language available. But I think something is wrong. It's not working. Okay, so for example, Mandarin, I think is ZH-CN. Okay, so hi, how are you is ni hao ma, something like this. Okay, it's from Google Translate. Okay, so we just improve from here to show you some more external package. So next thing I want to show you is GTTS. Okay, so for example, GTTS is Google Text to Speech. So for example, if your application is to read out something, you can use GTTS. Okay, just search for GTTS as previously how we install external package. Okay, GTTS. Just install it. Okay, and then let's use it. Import. Okay, no, so I mean, never mind. I will import OS first. OS is operating system used to copy paste something or remove something. Later I'll use it. So from GTTS, import GTTS. Okay, Google Text to Speech. Okay, so let's say after I translate the word, I want to read it out. Okay, so let's say I translate the word and I want to read it out. Okay, so I will write the code. Output equals to GTTS. Oops, not small letters, capital letter, GTTS. GTTS, and then the text we want to translate the language. Okay, the language, let's put in Mandarin because I translate to Mandarin. And okay, that's it. Okay, and then output dot save. Okay, to read the sound, we have to save it first. Save it as a file first, and then play sound. Okay, it requires another package called play file. Okay, GTTS just help you convert it into a file, into a sound file. And then we need another package, play sound, install package. Okay, so see how convenient is it? If I want to translate something, I just need DeepT Translator. Okay, not just DeepT Translator, there's plenty of package that maybe can do translation. Okay, and then if I want to convert text to speech, I just use GTTS. If I want to play the sound, I just use play sound. Okay, so it's very convenient to build complicated things. So you just need to know what package you need to use and familiar with it. Okay, module object is not callable. Okay, over here should be from play sound, import play sound. Okay, let's try again. Okay, I think this one should be wrong. Okay, the text should be translated text. Okay, we read out the translated text. So let's try again. Okay, so if after I translate the text, I'll pass to GTTS. GTTS can help me read it out. Okay, can help me convert to sound file and then we can read it out. Okay, these are some external module, which is quite interesting. Okay, some more module like PyAuto GUI. PyAuto GUI helps you automate your mouse and keyboard. It can help you move your mouse and keyboard. I think I don't have much time here, so I'll just show you the result of it. Okay, so let's say I have auto form filler. So this is just an example. If I have an auto form filler, I can use a Python code to help me automatic fill a form. Okay, so for example, right now my mouse and keyboard is not moving. Everything is automated. Okay, Python help me move my mouse and keyboard to help me type something and move and click something, and even help me take a screenshot. Okay, so this can be done by PyAuto GUI. Okay, PyAuto GUI can help me like move to some location, click, type right. Okay, so this is how powerful is it. And then I also use web browser. Web browser is built-in module. Web browser helps me open up a certain website. Okay, and also I use time. Time.sleep helps me help it to sleep, help it to wait for a certain second. Okay, so when I open a web browser, it takes some time to load, right? So I will just use time.sleep to tell the Python code to wait for a while. Okay. And let's see. And then we have, for example, Gmail. Gmail is used for sending email. Okay, email translator. Previously, the application is email translator, just that I break it down already. Okay, previously, I translate the word and then send it as email. Okay, so using Gmail, I can send some email, automate. Okay, I can automatically send some email. Okay, but there's some security steps to do with it. Okay, and then we still have some more application to show you how powerful is it. We still have Pygame. Okay, I think Pygame I didn't show it here. If you want to do some simple game with Python, you can use Pygame. Okay, Pygame can help you make some game. Okay, so let me just run it. Okay, so this is a game, very simple game I built with Python code. Okay. And let me show you some more. For example, we have PyQt5. Okay, PyQt5 can help you make some real GUI. Okay, so for example, this is a GUI I just created. Okay, just now, for example. Okay, so this GUI have a few buttons. Okay, you can have buttons, can have input, output. Okay, let's say I click Yahoo, you will help me open up yahoo.com. And say I click Google search, you help me open up Google search. Google Translate, you help me open up Google Translate. Okay, so this is a code of it using PyQt5. Okay, PyQt5 have a designer in it. All right, the designer, you can design the GUI you want. Okay, but this is quite complicated already lah. I don't have time to cover here. Okay, I think I'll show you one more external package. Sorry, okay. One more, I think I used to for computer vision. OpenCV-Python. Okay, this OpenCV-Python can help you do some image processing or computer vision things. Okay, so let's say I run this face detection. All right, let me see my face. Okay, so this is face detection application. Okay, you can do image processing, crop some image, detect color. Okay, many things you can do here with this package. OpenCV-Python. Okay, and then this one opens, no, this one. OpenPixel, this one. OpenPyXL, this one. OpenPixel helps you to automate your Excel. You can like write or read from an Excel file using this OpenPixel. Okay, and then this PyInstaller helps you compound your file. Okay, so for example, just now I did run it. Never mind. Now I will just show you here. So for example, if you don't want to run your file from PyCharm, because not everybody have PyCharm, right? Not everybody know Python. Okay, so you can actually compound your code. So for example, just now I just compound this auto form filler. Okay, so let me just try again. Auto form filler, I will just show you how to do it. With this PyInstaller, I will write no console. Okay, this one I will write auto form filler. Okay, no console one file auto form filler. Let me just write this code, run this code, and then it will help me with some error. Auto form filler. Okay, typo is it? Let me check. Make it an okay, sorry, here's double slash. Okay, no console. Okay, suppose just now I just created that, so I think that's why it runs so fast. Okay, suppose it will take some time. So after I run it, I can make it into a application file. I can make it as an exe file. Okay, auto form filler. So I can send this file to anyone. Okay, I can send this file to anyone, and everyone can use this application. Okay, without PyCharm, without Python. Okay, just double click it, and then it will does what your code does. Okay, this is how we can make it something like an application. Okay, so not every time you have to open your PyCharm and run the code. Okay, you can make it as an application using this PyInstaller. Okay, I think I have shared plenty of it. This is the last slide I have. Okay, I think that's all from me. I hope you can feel how powerful is this. You can have the initiative to learn more of it. Okay. All right, that's all. I will pass back to the organizer.
Well, that was such an informative session. I hope we have learned something new and valuable today. Now, we are in our Q&A session. All questions and inquiries from participants are welcome. Do post your questions via the link provided in the chat box. Later, I will read them. Mr. B, there is a question for you about what is the difference between lists and tuples in Python?
Okay, list and tuple is very similar. Just that tuple you cannot change it after you define it. Okay, list you can like change the items inside it, and then tuple you cannot. Okay, I think that's all.
Our last question from the participants. What are the key features of Python?
Okay, just similar as many programming language. Python is quite general. Python is a general purpose language. You can use it to do many things. Basically, you can just search for it. Just like just now, I show you in the external package, external module things you can do with many things inside using Python. Okay, just that different programming language have different advantages. So for example, C++. C++ advantage is it runs very fast. So if maybe you want to something like do some auto driving, for example, auto driving, which require very fast responses, then maybe you have to use C++, for example. But Python doesn't run as fast as C++. Okay, so Python advantages are in some field like AI, machine learning. That one is usually people use Python to do for but then Python can do so much more things just like Python can also run some robotics things also can run. Okay, anything you can think of actually Python can run. Web design also possible, like database also have robotics stuff, automated stuff. Okay, many things you can do with Python. There's no specific things to do okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. B, for answering those questions. Hopefully, that means the workshop was crystal clear and all your curiosities and questions were already answered. Before we wrap up our workshop, I'd like to ask all participants to turn on your cameras for our photography session. I repeat, I'd like to ask all participants to turn on your cameras for our photography session.
Hi, please be prepared. Okay, so for the first page, 1, 2, 3. Okay, for the second page, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
All right, that's all for our photography session, and thank you for the cooperation given by all participants. Before I end this session, I would like to invite all participants to visit our official website and play our mini games there. The mini games still accessible until 10 p.m. tonight. We have reached the end of our event. All participants are required to fill up the feedback form by scanning the QR code as shown in the slide, or by clicking the link given in the chat box. It is important for participants to fill up both the attendance form and the feedback form, especially USM students. Finally, please scan the QR code or click the link in the chat box to fill up your attendance. Once again, on behalf of I.D.E.A USM 2022, we would like to express our utmost gratitude to all of you for willingly spending your time with us this evening. Please follow our Facebook page I.D.E.A USM and Instagram account I.D.E.A USM to know more about our future events. Thank you and stay safe.